everybody, Oshikorosu coming at you with my new toy in my bedroom, and I wanted to show it off, and I got some other things to do. But right now, today, I'm going to talk to you about 10 things about me. Yes, it's written in crayon, and yes, we're going to get to that. As part of the hashtag, the person behind the games. So, a little bit about me is what you're going to hear, and over the next couple minutes, I'm going to tell you 10 things. 10 things. And I'm just going to go through a list that I made up 1 to 10. There's not a lot of detail on the list. It's written in crayon, and and we're going to go from there. So, I suppose if you wanted to know something about me, about the guy who's been playing the Binding of Isaac, the guy who's eating a lemon, number 1, first thing I can tell you about me is that I smoked for almost 8 years and I quit about 5 years ago. So 13 years ago, I'm 28, so 13 years ago I was 15 years old. I started smoking when I was 15 years old and smoked for 8 years. Glad I don't do it anymore. I still think about smoking a lot though. Actually, just 2 days ago or something, I was really sitting there craving a cigarette. I don't have a lot of willpower, so whatever willpower I do have, I put it into not smoking. I try and set a good role model. Which kind of brings me to fact number 2. So, fact number 2 about me is I have a family. Well, I have children, is what I should say. I have 2 children, 2 beautiful children who you can probably see in the pictures back here. You may not see because of the light, but they're there. They're real. So I have 2 beautiful children. And actually I found a crayon on my couch, and that's what I wrote my list in. Well, I got 2 crayons. I wanted to be a little creative. That's probably the second thing that defines me as a person. I'm a dad. The third thing, number 3, isn't really something you didn't know about me, but I guess it's just a little bit more information about it. But I'm a gamer, and what gaming means to me is that ever since I was really young, my dad used to play video games with us very rarely. It was like a treat. And I remember Sword of Vermilion for the Sega Genesis was the very first game we ever played. And he used to have all these maps drawn out. He had a little Cambridge book that kind of folding leather cover, and inside he had all this grid paper, and he drew all the maps. So if you're not familiar with the game, I guess it kind of detracts a little bit from the description. It was a really, really detailed game for my father, and he would actually play us all through all the dungeons, and then he would get us to the boss fights, and me and my little brother would take turns beating the bosses until eventually we beat the game. And then the next thing we played was A Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. We played that with my dad too. So I've been playing since I was really young, probably about 5 years old. That's 23 years I've been gaming. That's longer than some of the people watching this video are even alive. That's scary. Fact number 4. You don't see it right now because I took it off just because I just did this, but I wear a toque year-round. Right now it's like plus 20 something outside, plus 28. It's gonna be like plus 30 degrees Celsius tomorrow. Which is like really friggin' hot. And I still wear a toque. Now, I usually wear a toque to hide my hair because, I don't know, you know, some of the stuff that my father left me is not always good stuff, and I'm losing a little bit of this, and so I usually just pop a toque on and hide it away. Number 5. I can't see you. Number 5 is that ever since I was young, I mean, well, I don't know, I consider young about 14, 13 years old. I always wanted to be a graphic designer. I spent some time on a forum. I had met this guy, he was a graphic designer, and I always seen all those cool little signatures in people's emails, or all their forum posts, and I wanted to know how to do it, so I had got a version of Photoshop, and I learned how to do it from there. And I consider myself to be quite accomplished now. I'm not working in a print shop or anything, but as far as digital graphics go, I consider myself quite accomplished and do a lot of good stuff. And in the future, I'm trying to learn how to do motion graphics. It's not quite graphics, but video editing as well. So. I get to practice video editing with stuff like this. Number 6, I really enjoy dubstep music. Like, really enjoy it. I listen to all sorts of music, from classical to opera, all the way from blues to jazz, all the way from country to heavy screamo rock like Cradle of Filth and stuff like that. The only kind of music I really don't like is that Queen era, that that 1980s hair metal stuff, Metallica and AC/DC and Kiss. I never really ever liked it, ever at all. It's just something I never liked. Fact number 7, and I'm not gonna start throwing fingers up because I'm gonna lose count and I'm not editing it in. I consider myself to be quite philosophical. A couple of years ago I was introduced to people like Alan Watts, who's anyways, long story short, he's a philosopher. And I listen and I like to read a lot about religion, I like to read a lot about philosophy, and so I consider myself to be quite philosophical. I'm not going to talk about my beliefs and stuff on camera right now, but if it's something that interests you, I would love to have a debate with you sometime. And I also love the debate, so it goes hand in hand. So, let's talk philosophy, but not right now. Fact number 8. I can do all the even numbers with my fingers because it's like, it's the same on each hand. Fact number 8 is I can solve a Rubiks Cube in under 2 minutes. I was gonna try and pick up the YouTube talent show hashtag, but I don't know if it's still running or not. It's not that fantastic, but yeah, it's a talent of mine that I can do, and I'm really kind of proud of it. I used to have an old job working as a security guard, and we had done this stint at Toys R Us, and I was determined. Bought this Rubiks Cube, and I said, I'm gonna do it. And I did it, but I had to cheat with the internet. I used YouTube, and I learned how to do it. So I enjoyed it from there, learned how to do it. Now it's just a neat party trick. I keep a Rubiks Cube on my desk at work. People walk by and they fiddle with it, and I fix it. Life goes on. So I can do a Rubiks Cube in 2 minutes. Maybe I'll show you sometime. Fact number 9 is I'm a high school dropout. It's not something I'm proud of, and I did actually have an opportunity to go to college, and I pissed that away too. But that being said, push come to shove, when I was like 14, 15 years old, I had a job at McDonald's, and I was really content with all the money I was making. I was making $6.25 an hour, $6.25 an hour for 40 hours. Anyways, my take-home checks were like $600. That was like, for a 14-year-old, that's a lot of money to be having. And I quit school because I figured I knew it all, and I was gonna, pay for my own stuff working at McDonald's. And not that there's anything wrong with working at McDonald's, don't get me wrong. They did teach me a lot of really good fundamental skills that I carry through with me in my life now. Yeah. So stay in school, kids. On the same note, I'm not going to actually use this as point number 10. I was gonna, it's written on my list for point number 10, but it's just, I guess, a little piece of information. I cannot write lowercase alphabet. I can read it really easy, and I can identify it, and if I take my time, I could write it, but I can't, well, I guess printing is the term, but I can't print lowercase alphabet. It takes me forever. So I print in all capitals always, all the time. Finally, point number 10. So I used the ABCs for point number 10. I can't remember what the hell I was going to say, so. Okay, here's a good one. For the 10th thing about me, I'm making this up because I wasn't prepared. Ever since I was 14, I was just talking about working at McDonald's. When I worked at McDonald's, you weren't allowed to have a beard. You were only allowed to have a mustache. And I hate mustaches. So if it's part of my beard, I'll keep it. But otherwise, I hate them. So that being said, after I was fired from McDonald's for smoking in the restaurant, I've never been clean shaven ever. Ever. I didn't clean shave for my wedding. I have not been clean shaven at any point in my life ever after. I always used to kind of keep a chin strap. Now I don't. Now I keep a beard. Or as somebody on one of the forums I go to said, sorry, it's just heavy stubble. think their beard was threatened with this beautiful, beautiful thing. And there you have it. That's 10 things about me. I don't really have anybody to tag at this point in time. So what's kind of unfortunate about that is I wasn't tagged to do this either. I just wanted to reach out into the community and post a video and use the hashtag and use this as a way to thank Belcoot for creating a movement like this in the YouTube community and creating a way for us to reach out and branch with each other, and we can kind of go through this, because the other two people that I know have already done this. I don't know what to do from here. If I think of something later on down the road, or I find a couple other people, a couple victims, I'll definitely let them know about it, because I think this is an important movement to make, and it's a great hashtag to push the person behind the games. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed it. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. You'll find all sorts of this kind of stuff on here, whether it's vlogs, the person behind the games, actual gameplay footage. I do more than just the Binding of Isaac, and in the future here we're going to see a little bit more of that. And I do a lot of networking within the community, so if you see me, say hi, send me a message. I mean, it's everywhere. You can find me everywhere. So other than that, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy your day. I'll see you next time.